Hey guys, jrcrash here. Today is episode 3 of our little C++ coding series. And this episode we're going to be learning about functions. Now, quick thing I want to say before we get into this is I understand that most tutorials teach you functions a little later in, like maybe if I was doing this like most tutorials, this would be like episode 8 where I'd be teaching functions, but honestly, in my opinion, functions need to be taught early so that they're not such a shock to you later on. So what is a function? A function within C++ is a reusable sequence of statements made to do certain things. Every program must have a main. Well, guess what? Main is a function. A main isn't the only function we can have in C++. We do not have to put all of our program codes into main. In fact, if you're making something larger than, say, 80 lines, you shouldn't even be doing most of your processes within main. That is why we have something called functions. Watch as I create this function called print statement. Let's call this function print statement, and it's going to be of type void. What a void really is it means it doesn't have a return value, therefore it can't return something like a number per se. So here's what we're gonna do. Sorry, not print void. We're gonna call this print statement. And we're gonna open the brackets, close the brackets, and we're gonna put something in here. What are we gonna put in here, you may ask? We're just gonna put a simple output statement. We're gonna call this, let's just say code is inside of print statement. And here's what I'm gonna do. This is our new way of ending the line. In previous tutorials, I used end L, but in this tutorial from now on and every other tutorial, I'm gonna be using this as end line. It is the same thing. It's just quicker and easier to do. Now on to our main function. Let's just do std_cout within main. Let's end the line. And let's call our print statement. See, it shows up there. Yeah, had to make sure. And let's just back in main, and we don't necessarily have to end the line, but we can. And let's just put a little return 0 here. Good practice for beginners. All right, so before I run this, I want you to figure out what this says. Just using your brain here, I want you to figure this out real quick. Pause the video and try to figure this out for yourself. And if you have already figured it out, I'm going to go ahead and continue. So we can assume that since this is the first thing within main, main is always the first thing that starts. So std_cout within main. So I assume it's going to say within main, and then it's calling print statement. So we're in print statement over here. And then this is saying code inside a print statement. And then this is, since this is over, we're going back to main. And we're going back to the part where this was called, so it's going to say back in main, and then it will return 0. So let's build and run, and let's see what it says. Within main, code inside a print statement, back in main. All right. A very good reason for using functions other than main is repetition in task. Here's an example of us repeating something. So we're going to make void, and we're going to call this print dog. We're going to make this a bit of a fun one here. We're going to make that called print dog, and then we're going to say cout. We're going to make it say bark, like a little dog. We're going to end the line, and then we're going to close with a little there, a little semicolon, and then we're going to make our int main. And what we're going to put in here is an extra little fun part. We're going to put, what does a dog do? Question mark. And we're going to end the line. And then we're going to make it std_cout. Or, yeah, we're going to do std_cout. And we're just going to do again, question mark. And then we're going to end the line. there. And then in between these two things, we're going to put print dog. And then we're going to put those parentheses there. And then we're going to print dog. So, as we can assume, this is going to say, what does a dog do? It's going to say bark, and then it's going to do again, question mark, and then it's going to do bark. So let's test by building and running. What does a dog do? Bark. Again, bark. There you go. That is an example of repetition in tasks by using multiple functions. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next episode.